Angry demonstrators broke down police barricades outside the Gonzalez residence in Little Havana today. They were protesting the latest court ruling to return...
Bernardo Benes knows what can happen in Miami as well as anyone else. He has a story to tell.
That's a good story. Sad.
20 years ago, he was one of the most successful and visible persons in the Cuban-American community in Miami. He was a high-ranking official of a bank and director of the United Way International. He served on the boards of a dozen civic organizations and had friends in high places.
I was vacationing with my family in Panama, August 1977, when government officials of Cuba came from Havana especially to meet me. I think they wanted to meet me because I was the second closest Cuban American to President Carter. And we had lunch and dinner. And when I came back to Miami, I called a couple of friends of mine in the government, and I told them the story, and they confirmed that they were very high officers of the Cuban government.
In 1977, Jimmy Carter, as part of an overall commitment to human rights, was considering improving relations with Cuba. Fidel Castro was also interested. Bernardo Benes was asked to act as a go-between. In February '78, he went to Cuba to meet with Castro. They had 14 secret meetings over the next few months. Then his picture, taken with Castro, appeared on the front page of the Miami News, together with the news that Castro had agreed to release 3,600 political prisoners and promised to allow relatives from Miami to return to visit their loved ones in Cuba. Benes flew back to Miami with the first group of prisoners and their families. Welcoming them to the safety of the territorial airspace of the United States. The reunion was a momentous and moving occasion for the families who had been separated for years, not knowing if they would ever meet again. But Benes couldn't join in the celebration.
When the plane arrived in Miami, there were 8 members of the sheriff's department of Dade County surrounding me. And to my surprise, I said, "What is this?" He says, "There are many phone calls in threats of your life." At the time, I couldn't understand. I was not expecting to be received as a hero, but I was neither expected to be killed by the Cuban exiles for 2 things that I did that were good.
Benes was branded as Castro's agent, a traitor. His bank was bombed, he lost his job. The attack was one of at least 13 bombing incidents between 1973 and 1983 in Miami alone, all related to the exile power struggle. Benes would never recapture his former life. He was ostracized, attacked in public places, and had to be protected by the FBI. For 21 years, he has lived in a world apart.
Still today, I became a pariah in Miami. And I have lived a very private, secret life in the last 21 years.
Why did they do that?
Well, because I talked to Castro. Why Elian? The same thing. Hate. When people hate, they don't think.